Hi. So, this is all about how to, as I've heard it called, reframe your brain or reframe your memory. But I like to go with like this saying called retrain your brain. Now, when we have negative thoughts or emotions or any kind of thing that brings us down, especially when linked with past memories. For instance, it doesn't even need to be one, all trauma is traumatic. Doesn't matter, there's no scale. PTSD symptoms are the same across the board. Doesn't matter the situation that you went through. If it was traumatic to you, it was traumatic. So, that being said, if you have memories that link you just to even a emotion that you feel that's not linked with now, the present, but it's linked with then, but it's now causing you to feel this way, that right there is traumatic. Because we have built ourselves from that person to the person we are now through hard work, a lot of hard work, which we don't give ourselves enough credit for because we're still dragging the other memories with us. So we're not enjoying this life. We are stuck in that life. So easier said than done though, because I can tell you all day, you have to live mindfully. You have to live in this moment and this individual thing, this like task or hobby in your hand or meditation or whatever the case may be. But that's a hard concept to grasp when, especially when it's not something that you're used to implementing or even heard of being as an option. So what I like to start with whenever like I get triggered to a past feeling, emotion, thought, memory, whatever, I at first I sit with this emotion. Sit with it. It's very uncomfortable, but that's why it's uncomfortable, because growth is uncomfortable. If we just were comfortable all our lives, we'd be complacent. Things have to be slightly uncomfortable for growth. So you have to sit with that emotion and really see where that emotion is linked with inside of you. Now, what does that emotion have value-wise to you now? And what is that emotion? Because you might notice that emotion, that feeling is linked to a way that you used to think, but you no longer think this way. So what you have to do is unlink these two by putting them back together in the same spot, but now in this mindset, this perspective of adulthood that you're in. So re-look back at this memory, re-look at it now, but all the way. Don't just skip over it because you've already re-looked at it. Re-look at it again and look at it with a different perspective. Don't go in it already labeling it all. Because if it's coming up again and it's triggering you, that means you haven't, you're not over it. You're not that you're not over it, but because that's, I hate when people say that, oh, just get over it already. No. What did we learn from it? What good did we take from it? And why could we possibly forgive this person or forgive ourselves even? Because when we hold on to resentment and guilt and shame, especially for ourselves, that's the heaviest weight of them all. Because that's what's anchoring you in the past. That happened already. You're done with it. It's over. But the hate and the resentment and the linked emotions, you are dictating now your future to be reminiscent of your past. You're choosing that. So whenever I would get a trigger response from a sound outside or them banging upstairs all the time, like I used to just throw my hands up and be like, PTSD triggers, this sucks, But then I thought about it, and like I sat with the emotion, I faced the memory, and I relived it, and then I thought about it, and I'm like, why am I doing that to myself? It's not a linked thing anymore. I'm a different person. I'm no longer in that spot. I can take control of this. I can take control of how I respond. So every time that it would happen, I'd be in it, and I'd notice it, and I'd pay attention to it, and I retrain my brain, and I'd be like mad maybe. Oh, they're always loud upstairs. Like, I can't believe I pay this much rent. You know what I mean? Like, even though that's still slightly on the negative side, but it's like you're making new memories. You have to make new memories to replace the old ones. See, like when you're fixing your infrastructure, when you're rebuilding, or if you have to like, what's it called? More, I don't know. Fortify, there you go. Fortify your infrastructure that might be like it was never built completely stable in the beginning, and it deteriorated, and it's like you can't just tear down your whole house. You're however old, you've already built this house, so you have to like build temporary support around your already made infrastructure to re-pour your cement. But the thing is, these are temporary things, these are temporary fixes, temporary things. So like once you've hardened and solidified your cement, then you're not going to need these little sidings anymore. You're not going to need that. So for right now, it's like you might have to physically, mentally, mindfully tell yourself, no, I'm not going to flinch at that. No. That's not going to bother me. Why does it bother me in the first place? You know, like, question it, get involved, take control. Because you know what? Like, we can look at it the way of like anger, resentment, shame, guilt. We can look at it that way because we didn't deserve our past. But that's over. It's done with. It happened. So we deserve to have a future, though, don't we? So we should change that. You know, we should take control of that. We should be the driver of our own car of destiny. So if we can relinquish or absolve those connections, and not necessarily just poof, all gone, because that's impossible. You have to replace them with positive ones. So whenever you go to that memory in your now present, do something fun. Replace it with something positive. Replace a negative memory with something positive. Kind of like when you train an animal. I hate to say that, but it's kind of like that. Like, here's a treat for thinking the other way. Like, I told one of my first coaching clients, and I've done this myself. I'm not even lying. But for a good year straight, it took until I could like I still slip up from time to time, but I still make sure I do the embarrassing thing of like calling myself out in front of people. But I don't down talk myself. I don't talk down myself. I don't condescend myself. I don't call myself stupid. I don't call myself names. And if I do, even as a joke, I stop and apologize to myself and like rectify that. I'm like, I am smart. I am capable. I am insert positive affirmation here. Because when you retrain your brain like that and replace the negative, the tiny things, the things you can control, because we can't control everything in the world. That's like too much rumination. Like, oh my God, if I want to get there, I have to do this, and that's too much. Now I'm just going to give up. No, focus on the little things. Cut out all negative words from your daily day routine. Don't down talk yourself. Don't call yourself names, not even in jest. Talk yourself up. Damn, I look good today. Or like, oh man, I love that I know how to do that. Or like that I learned how to build this. Or like, I have this creative talent. Or I love this about myself, you know? Like, gas yourself up. Because you gotta love you enough to realize that it takes work, A, and B, your own willingness to not want to live in that past anymore, to take control of that, to notice it, and instead of re-feeling that resentment, be like, you know what? I'm proud of myself that I'm not going to let that be linked to today's memory. Today, I'm going to link it with, and then do something that you don't usually do in that moment. Who knows? I don't know. One day I did something like that, and I made like a coffee scrub combo soap, like just one, just for fun, because it was something different that I replaced that memory with. Like, I learned something and I created a new recipe, and instead of housing this old negative thought, I learned something new. And you know what? We don't have enough space in our brains to learn new things if we hold on to old stuff that we don't need. That's probably why we don't all know our times tables and stuff very well, because of calculators. But that's my point, though. Let it go like that. Because it does not hold value here today. What are your values? Sit down right now and tell me what your values are. Do you value your happiness? Do you value your mental health? Do you value your future, your day-to-day living? Do you value yourself enough to make literal changes to how you think? Even though it may sound silly, oh, well, I'm not saying the word not. I'm just saying I am good at this. I am willing to do that. I am a good public speaker. I am a successful life coach. I am a successful author. I am a successful mom. I am a successful, like, no more like not sentences. Oh, at least I'm not this, or I'm not gonna forget to do the dishes today. Just be like, yo, I'm doing dishes. Like, you gotta just be affirmative in your actions and how you speak to yourself. This is the example that I had read when I was doing my studies on dialectics and affirmations, and just how, like, wording really matters. But it was a example about if you were a terrible public speaker and you got terrified before you went on stage, right? But so, like, the whole time before you go on, you're like, I'm not a bad public speaker. I'm not a bad public speaker. Like, I'm going to, like, whatever. You're already imagining this knot and this, like, terrifying fear of you walking on the stage, and you're already imagining the crowd, like, just, like, staring at you with crickets. But if you say to yourself before you're on there, I'm going to rock the hell out of this speech. Like, I have something important to say, and I fully am committed to my confidence in it. And so I'm going to rock it. Everyone's going to love it. They're going to gain from it what I wanted them to. It's going to be great. It's going to be an amazing experience. It's going to skyrocket my business to the next level. And I'm going to reach more people. Now, when you go on that stage, you're already imagining the end of that speech with people standing with, like, just applause, because your brain is powerful that way. We're storytellers. We all naturally are. We link memories to imagery. We link memories to places. We link memories to scent. We link memories to everything. So you have to retrain your brain. It's not get rid of the scent, because you can't. It's not get rid of the situation or the way someone speaks to you, because you can't. How about instead reflect, see that that's a reflection. Why are they speaking that way to me, condescendingly? Because I know that I'm good with myself and that I'm great. I love me. So why would they try and put me down in this situation? Or why would they insult me? Or why would they speak to me that way? And more often than not, you realize it's because they are threatened or scared of you, because you're unknown to them. You cannot be categorized into a file of anything, because you are not mimicking anything. You're completely you. And if you're completely you, then you're completely unique. You're one of a kind. And you're completely always changing and evolving. You're completely new every 7 years biologically. All your skin, all your cells, like, you are no longer the same person you were before even watching this video. Think of it that way. Empower yourself. You're not the same person from day to day. Don't treat yourself like that. Don't treat yourself linked with your past, because it's over. Whatever. It's sad. We have to be validated for what we went through. Yes. But after that, after we cry that out, after we get through that, then look at it again. Look at it again now as an adult that's healed from that, that's faced it. And then look, it's like yourself. See how, like, that's dictated your path so far, and then realize, you know what? I'm not going to let that do that anymore. I don't really like that path that was dictated by. Like, I'm going to go with my truth from now on. Bye-bye. Negative evil demons. I'm going to open the cage. Yeah, you might sound like that's like, oh my God, don't do that. You like took so many years to like retrain your brain to like cage up the demons. No. I learned something. Take the pin out the cage and let them go. Just turn and face them and realize, go home. You guys are good. Good, go. We're closing up shop. Because you can do that. You can. I had a dream, a reoccurring nightmare when I was a kid about like all the 90s like horror movie scary people, like It the Clown, Freddy Krueger, Michael Myers, you know, like each time I had this reoccurring nightmare, it was the same thing. I was running from one of them, but it was a different one of them each time. And I'd always get caught right at the end of the dream, like, you know, running a whole time and then like by the ankle, you know, like right at the last whatever. And I'd go to scream and I couldn't. And it would be like beet red, like couldn't get, and that terrified me out of my dream. And like I was afraid to sleep. Like it was like, I was like, this is crazy. Like, and as a kid, I was a young kid. I got little. I feel like I was like in kindergarten or something. And like, I remember in one of the dreams, all of them had joined together. And now I'm like in Freddy Krueger's basement in the boiler room. It's like steam. And it's like dark and red lighting. And I was running. And I was like, I'm the one who's choosing to run. I never did anything different. You know, we never tried anything different. I never tried anything different in my dream. So I tried this. And I turned around and they all stopped because they were like, And I was like, that's enough. Okay? And that was the first time in any of the dreams that I had my voice. Think about that one. Because I chose not to be fearful anymore of my unknown. I chose to take my stand rooted, strong, like the base of a tree, and face my fears and tell them I've had enough. Right? Cool. I think that's have a good night.